Hello, and welcome back to another episode of Critical Reactions with your host, Bryan. We're going to continue on with this week's theme of, dude, you gotta listen to this. Checking out songs that y'all think I absolutely need to listen to. Today we're going to be looking at an artist I have never heard before, Cat Power. Not Cat Powers, which is kind of where I thought that was going to go originally, but just Cat Power. Like, this is what I have. I have cat power. I'm a superhero. I don't know. Maybe it could also just be a last name, like Cat Power. But like I said, I just kind of feel like there should be an S. Powers. Oh wait, Sam, how much of that is influenced by Austin Powers? No, I don't know. Anyways, let's just get on with this. I'm rambling. We're looking at the track Good Clean Fun. Let's see what's going on with this. It's a bit quiet right here, but we definitely have a grungy vibe. Really well produced, but none of the instruments really have a punch to them. It's an interesting combination of production techniques. There's a lack of projection to the vocal delivery too that matches the energy of the song. That walk down on the left guitar was pretty nice transition. There is an interesting imbalance as well where our left guitar is consistently louder than our right. Bringing in some dissonance there. I think it's interesting too that part of the verse is our volume peak so far. Those really tight snare rolls, occasionally at the end of these lines. All right. Certainly a song that fits within the grunge vibe. Very dreary, slower paced, not a lot of energy throughout most of it. And so it does make the sections where we get that really present vocal delivery, projecting it and providing it a lot of width and body. Those moments stand out in drastic contrast to some of the stuff that we experience throughout the rest of the song. That tends to be a little bit lesser on the energy, particularly through the guitars and the vocals just sort of existing. There's not an element of really putting a full-bodied sound into a majority of this track. The main thing that we get out of most of it is quiet, spaciousness. I think this is fascinating primarily because even with other grunge music that I've listened to, I think even the quieter sections still tend to be loud in that they're full volume. They might sound quiet, but they're not quiet when you analyze the sound itself. But here we were consistently 5 dBs under the max. There were only a couple of moments when we actually hit that full volume level, and a lot of that came through the vocal projection, where the vocals really had some strong airflow and movement and direction, and it wasn't just kept right here by the mouth, but pushed out further, really directed outside. And it gives it this full body, this confidence that you don't really hear elsewhere in the track. And I find that back and forth there, I mean, yeah, it's the core element of the song, but I find it to be quite evocative, especially since the rest of the instruments are also pairing along with it. But the rest of the instruments aren't equally presented either. I'd mentioned the drums there at the end. I'll be honest, I didn't really pay much attention to the drummer up until that final moment. This is primarily because the drums are de-emphasized in the mix. They are well, it's not even just the mix too, it's the composition. The drums are consistently in the background as far as interesting ideas. There's a couple of fills that were nice, but for the most part the drummer keeps the beat. It's very metronomic, sitting in the pocket kind of drum work. It wasn't until the end when I heard those little snare rolls that kind of accentuated the end of the drum phrase before we had those couple of beats of silence that led us back into the repetition of the phrase, that I noticed the drummer's actually doing some nuanced ideas. It makes me want to go back and listen to the whole song, focusing primarily on what the drummer's doing, but I think my analysis here still stands, that the drum work is de-emphasized both in the mix and the composition. It's just not what it's just not what the spotlight is put on. Part of this, though, is also the spaciousness of everything. We have one guitar to the left, one guitar to the right. We have our vocalist and drums center, but they're all so far from each other. I wager this probably works better with speakers rather than, kind of having this angled direction of left and right rather than this parallel direction. I don't know what you'd call opposite direction, right? Where left is on your left and right is on your right, because that adds even more separation to the imaging. And this is something that I've brought up in a couple of tracks. Some songs work fine with headphones, others they don't, and it's because of speaker placement. If you have two speakers, they're usually in front of you off to angles, so left and right are still in front of you. They have more of a connection. They're closer in that way. Here, the instruments sound drastically far apart. They're all very close to my head, though. It's a small sound sphere, but this left instrument is on the left. It's so far divorced from the one on the right. And what I mean by that is that you can place instruments in different channels by degrees or percentages. And so 0 is going to be center channel, and then you can move up to 100 until that is all the way. Even when you have this control, but you also have the control of reverb, in which reverb can kind of go across the channels as well and create this unified space. This, though, what little reverb there is seems stuck in the same channel the instrument is, which makes it not feel like they're all playing in an area. It makes it feel like they're all playing within a void, pockets of a void. And that's what I mean when there's a lot of spaciousness in here, even though the song is rather claustrophobic. It makes it, to me, feel like despite how close everything is, there is such a distance between all the instruments. And then, of course, when you add in all the volume stuff, some instruments are just going to get more of a spotlight than others, and that's where the drums kind of get lost a little bit. Now, speaking about volume, the left guitar is consistently louder than the right. If you check the volume thing up there in the corner, the left bar was always above the right bar, and I found this to be the most prominent in the chorus. I'm not quite sure what it is about the chorus that the left guitar decides to be so loud, but it feels very unbalanced to me, and maybe that's the point of it. We already have this idea of separation, and now we have a volume disbalance. I don't know if that's a word. Imbalance, there we go. And all this could tie into something thematically, but it is definitely something I noticed right off the bat listening to this. And it's got to be an intentional choice. It's too easy just to mix everything to be the same level. Whoever mixed this listened to the performance and said, yeah, I'm happy with this being louder than the rest of the group. And so I kind of want to know why. Maybe when we hit the lyrics, I'll find some stuff that fits thematically. I'm like, oh yeah, that makes sense as far as an artistic perspective. But also I'm kind of curious why Cat Power does it. Cat Power? Where do I put the emphasis? I think I'm going to put it on the P. Cat Power. Cat Power. I don't know. Is there anything else I want to bring up? Vocals. I find this really... I mean, I already kind of talked about this a little bit. The vocals have two delivery types. Quiet, meek almost, lacking authority or even self-image, just confidence. That's the word I want. And then this full-bodied, projected sound that's confidence. Yeah, we get it there. I think it's really interesting to hear the back and forth on this, particularly not even just from an artistic perspective, but from a performance one. I think it's awesome for the vocalist to show off such control over both styles. It's really easy when you sing or even play an instrument, especially wind instruments, softer, to kind of lose characteristics of the sound, but also to lose good projection. Good sound quality. A lot of it comes from airflow. One of the hardest things to learn as a new instrument player and probably a new vocalist is how to be quiet without losing any of the power. That you have to have good airflow without making it loud. And a lot of people, especially, I mean, even me, right? This is just what new wind players and I assume singers go through, is learning how to be loud without using a lot of air pressure and learning how to play silent without giving up any good amount of air pressure. And to hear this vocalist jump back and forth between both styles and never really giving up any of that characteristic tone or attributes of her vocal style, her vocal delivery, or even having her quiet one waver in pitch or in body or in any of that. I think it's fascinating to listen to that because it tells me that this person knows what they're doing, and is employing these techniques from probably an artistic perspective. It isn't just about going between the two. It isn't just about creating that contrast. There is a story that's being told there. Even if I don't pick up on what that story is today, I'm sure that they have something in mind regarding why they did that. It wasn't just an arbitrary choice. So with all that said, let's hit some lyrics and see if that helps explain anything that's going on in this track. Alright, lyrically, this is rather vague. There's a ton of repetition in here. Despite having 9 or 10 stanzas, many of the lines are something that we've heard previously in the track. There's a repetition of the phrase, "After this, there will be no one." We occasionally get some variations on this, such as, "After this, there will be no more good, clean fun." Or, "After this, there will be less interest." "After this, there will be so many good ones." There's a lot of playing off of this idea that something is happening right here, right now, and it's creating a point of influx. After this is so many possibilities. It's really difficult to see what will happen after this moment ends. However, the most repeated line is, "There will be no one," which I don't know if that's supposed to run juxtaposed to all the more positive ideas, or if it's supposed to be the beginning. After this, there will be no one, and then all the positive stuff is what comes after that. There is a chorus that says, "I forgive you for the rest, even the whole time I was tested. Nobody does it better, baby, you're the best." Which makes me think that this is some sort of relationship song, maybe even a breakup song. After this relationship ends, there will be no one with me, is kind of the vibe I'm getting there. However, that vacuum also opens up all these possibilities. There will be so many good ones after this, as stated one time. But also, after this, there will be less interest. Especially if this person is emotionally drained after this relationship for whatever reason. There are some really obtuse lines in here, though, such as, "After this, there will be heads on different bodies. There will be no more beautiful dresses. After this, there will be fast cast." Don't know what that means. There is one section that really deviates from all of this. If the choruses are about, "I forgive you for everything," and the verses are about, "This is a major point in time where anything can happen after it," there's one stanza that says, "Hey, I'm really down on my luck. Can I have something from you? But it seems I have nothing to give, and it seems you have nothing to give." It is the one time outside of the chorus that we deviate from the repetition of, "After this, there will be blank." That makes it stand out quite a bit, and I think it's interesting how, despite having this import due to a deflection of the repetition, a change in the pattern, that it kind of says something and nothing at all. It is rather mundane for such a major break in the pattern. Just a simple transaction. I want something from you, and it seems neither of us have anything to give, so the transaction's not going to go through. And that's it. But I think it can speak to, I mean, it could even be a flashback to this person, right? Back when they first met. Or not even, I guess just a flashback to somewhere in the relationship, recognizing that the two people in this relationship really don't have anything to embellish or add on to the other person's life. You're just in the relationship to be in a relationship, and it isn't something that necessarily benefits either person other than just to have somebody to come home to, kind of idea. I have nothing to give to you, you have nothing to give to me. Yeah, despite all that, though, I still forgive you, even the whole time I was tested, because nobody does it better, and you're the best. Which almost seems like, if this is a breakup song, that they're not going to get broken up. Which kind of makes it feel a bit more toxic, but maybe I'm just not getting a good read on it. It's interesting to pair all of this with the music, though, which is thematically very lethargic, lacking energy, lacking confidence, dreary, so, bordering on melancholic. I think many of these lines work well without that, or work well within that, but the chorus seems to be a bit more optimistic. But again, maybe if I am reading it, that this person's going to return to a relationship that just isn't good for them, yeah, that could be kind of sad to watch somebody return to that. And that would fit the atmosphere of the song. Those are just my thoughts, though, on Cat Power's Good Clean Fun. Let me know what you thought of this. Was there anything that stood out to you? Anything you'd like to add on to what I said or correct me on? Maybe you just have your own thoughts, opinions, and perspectives on what this track is doing or what it's about or any of that. Let me know down in the comment section. Above that, in the description box, you'll find a link to Linktree. In there, it takes you to this menu. You can find links to my music, ways to support the channel, a link to the Discord server, and so much more. Above that, if you could, like, subscribe, and ring the bell. I greatly appreciate all three of those. That wraps it up for this episode, but we do have one more coming up. Otherwise, I'll be back tomorrow, 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 9 p.m. UTC. We're going to continue on with this week's theme of, dude, you gotta listen to this. Until next time, remember to be critical, not cynical, of the music you listen to, and have a fantastic morning, afternoon, or evening, whenever you choose to watch my videos.